Well, greetings, everyone. Here we are again. We're the whole crew's here. All right. This is WeAwake, and this is where we every week, most weeks anyway, we do a meditation together using one of the tracks, so one of the many brain training tracks that we've developed over the years at iAwake Technologies. So today we've got a pretty cool one, and it is from the a collection called Stealing Flow Plus, and it's a collection of eight. I didn't say seven, but eight tracks, and they're about 25 minutes each. And the first one is Warm Up, which we're going to do today, followed by Stealing Flow with Subtle Affirmations. So this is like stuff you can't really hear, but that's the second one. That gets into your brain to say, wake up, be good, perform, all that good stuff. And then there's Stealing Flow, which is just another 25 minutes of straight without the subtle affirmations. And if you're paranoid, don't do the subtle affirmations because, you might think, I don't know, send money or something like that. It doesn't say. Anyway, 4, high focus. 5, breakthrough. 6, relax, release, recharge. 7, gamma. And 8, power nap. Just to get one of those little times when you just kind of zone into that restorative place. It's like, for me, it's like almost asleep, but not quite. But when you come back, you're really, really recharged and ready to go. So this one is called Warm Up. So this is a great one to use to warm up. So before you get to work in the morning, or maybe even before you do your deeper meditation, you can do this. Or when you're getting ready to do yoga and you're making your tea and everything, you can just use this to get your brain functioning, and or as meditation all by itself. So, you guys ready to try this out? All righty. All right. Uh, Greetings, everyone, and our colleagues and brothers and sisters from the Philippines here are going through a big typhoon right now. And Sabi is coming to us via batteries because all the electricity is out. So anyway, wow. I don't know. Love you guys. Send you good energy. Hope everything comes out all right. So that was warm up. And 25 minutes, and that's part of a larger collection of about 7 or 8 tracks that are, different things, but really good stuff. And I'm amazed about it. And Pam recommended that um, for today. And it brought to mind one of the things that I've been harping on, talking about for a long, long time. And it started, I guess, when I started becoming more acquainted with Ken Wilber's work. And then I started doing my own work, based on, a little midgets on the shoulder of a giant. And I wrote Integral Recovery. And one of the things I talked about with my students was developing an ongoing integral practice, with your body, your mind, your emotions, shadow, and your spiritual capacities as an ongoing daily practice. And this, what brought to mind, this is a really good track to use. Thank you, Pam. I think you recommended it to get you ready, get you going in your morning practice. And you set out that time, if you have kids, you just wake up before your kids get up, and I know it's hard, but anyway, I think we all can do that to some extent. It takes planning. It's more challenging in some cases. Well, what I do these days, I get up, do my ablutions, whatever, and then I'll do yoga. And I use Rodney Yee. And guys, anybody been in the yoga world for a while knows Rodney. He's quite a superstar, man. He's on YouTube. So I use one of these old things. I think it was originally done for VHS. So, it's been a while. But anyway, it's still good. So I do that. But at the same time, when I'm doing that, I have my little earbuds on and I'm entraining my brain, and it's on transparency mode so I can hear what's going on from YouTube and from Rodney on the screen. And that really works well. And the practice, once you do all the asanas or the positions and all that, it puts you in a place where leaves you in a state of meditation. So I just do it to the end of the video with Rodney, then just keep meditating because I already have the tracks on. So it's there's an old saying that time spent sharpening the sword is not time wasted. So which I'll say a little story about that sticks with me when I think about this. Is one time years ago when I was a very young man, I was in Argentina, and we'd obtained this old ranchito, or I guess in Argentina they call it estancia for ranch, small one. But we obtained that to use, and it was all overgrown, and it had few old chickens. And somebody told me, well, you ought to go get a chicken. We'll eat one for dinner. That's what country people do. They don't get it in a store. They actually eat, chickens. So I went out there, and these chickens are like losing their feathers because they were so old. And most of us never get to see an old chicken because they get eaten, before they get old, but they lose their feathers apparently. So I'm out there chasing it. And this doesn't have a lot, but it's a really interesting story to do with what we're talking about. So I grabbed this chicken, and I grab it, and the poor old thing just has a heart attack, I guess. It just dies in my hand. I didn't have to do anything. So I'm like traumatized and bring this old dead chicken in, and they cooked it, and we could have used it to patch tires. I mean, really tough. So, but that's not what this story is about. It was overgrown. this area where they had the chicken coop and the tool shed and the barn and all these different buildings that go along with, having a ranch or a farm, right? Overgrown with grass, really high. And we had this old side, and we're out there trying to cut this grass down. And this old Indian guy walks by. He's kind of hunched over, but big and powerful looking. So he just comes in, and he grabs the side and he pulls a rock out and starts sharpening the side. And, and, and does that. And then takes that side and just boom, 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 the grass just, it's like Bruce Lee with a scythe, just tremendously cutting down the grass. And so, yeah, if you want to be effective in life, sharpen the scythe. And I use this the brain entrainment when I'm studying. I find it really helpful. And I have to do a lot of studying nowadays because I'm, doing this podcast, and there's a lot of really pretty brilliant people, not pretty, just brilliant people that we have to, Roger and I have to have conversations with. So and we're doing this long series called the Wisdom Series with A.H. Almas. And if you haven't heard of him, well, you should have. He's a spiritual teacher, studied physics at UC Berkeley and taught. And anyway, he's really brilliant. And this book, a big old fat book called The Long Journey Home. And not The Long Journey Home, just The Journey Home. I always add long because it's a really big book. And it's really hard to comprehend. And I'm working on it for my third time, and I've taken all kinds of notes. And the more I do it, the more it reveals. Sometimes you just have a work. Here's my dog. Sometimes you have to just struggle with something, a subject, a book, a work, a piece of art. You're learning a piece of music or a song or something. It ain't easy. And that doesn't mean it's not good. It means you have to work. And so the more A.H. Almas, or Hamid, as his regular name is, not his nom de plume, is he's a really good writer, but he's writing about really, really heavy stuff. All that to say, after I do my yoga and my meditation and everything, then I'll put on my headphones and my earbuds, and I'll select a track and start studying. And so I know some of you guys, like Louis, is in school. That's why he's probably so tired. He's getting ready for some kind of midterm test. And so anyway, the suggestion is you can use these tracks to help you meditate, to develop that daily practice that includes your body. Also, I go to the gym, but not in the morning, later on, and go on long walks in the wilderness with my dog and out in the boonies. So anyway, develop a way of taking care of yourself. And this warm-up track is just a really cool track. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it really turns your brain on, gets you ready to whatever the task that you have to do. And like I said, it's a good track to use if you're just getting ready, getting dressed or in the kitchen, doing your morning routine, getting ready to practice. You can use this track. So, yeah. When I used to work with my students out in the wilderness program for kids that were struggling with, young people struggling with alcoholism and addiction, the old thing was, I'd say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? And they would go, practice, practice, practice. Which goes to the last story, which goes back to the story. This guy's in New York and he's trying to get to Carnegie Hall, and he asks this kind of street person, how do you get there? And the guy says, practice, practice, practice. So anyway, what we're doing, we've created great tools to practice. And I can see everybody's excited about this subject. So I hope you're all doing your practice. And anyway, God bless you. Thank you for that. And awesome track. And it's a part of like a 7 or 8 piece track that's good for all kinds of things. But they're all very good. And thank you for recommending it, Pam. I hadn't done it in a while. So I was to say I've said too much. Okay. It just happens like that sometimes. Anyway, God bless you guys.